Okay, this is crazy. So what it is somebody in the Cybertruck, the Tesla Cybertruck, pulled up to Trump Hotel. Former President Donald Trump, businessman, entrepreneur, etc. Donald Trump, and blew the truck up. So let's break it down. Let's react and let's see what happened.
More breaking news to tell you about. We're now learning the man connected to the rental of the Cybertruck that exploded outside of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas is a U.S. Special Forces soldier. Surveillance video shows the moment a Tesla Cybertruck exploded. Police say the driver detonated a combination of fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel. The FBI now working to figure out whether this was indeed an act of terrorism. The driver was killed and at least 7 people were injured. And CNN's Natasha Chen joins us now from Las Vegas. Natasha, some very interesting information coming in from our Haley Britsky over at the Pentagon about the man connected to the rental of this Cybertruck. What more are you learning?
Right, Jim. Well, Haley has confirmed in just the last few minutes that he is an active duty U.S. Special Forces soldier assigned to 10th Special Forces Group, according to 4 U.S. officials, that he holds the rank of Master Sergeant, a senior enlisted rank, these officials said. Three officials said he was on active duty when this happened on New Year's Day.
I know y'all hate people stopping the videos and y'all really into the videos, but my thing is, this is the person I actually would trust with my life, and this not even against this not even no shy shots at law enforcement, because like when it comes to law enforcement, most of them get raises and promotions and stuff for writing nuisance tickets and stuff like that. This is a person that will protect your life firsthand. They might get a Purple Heart or something like that, but they not getting no higher value. That's because they be doing all like this nuisance stuff. And so off rip, I'm saying it this like some mental issues going on. Like, if you can't trust this person, who can you really trust? Wow, man, wow.
He has not been identified publicly, and authorities are still trying to work out whether this was a terrorist attack. Now, just to recap a little bit of what happened behind us just 24 hours ago.
Most definitely domestic terrorists.
There are still police presence here around the valet area of where you pull into the Trump International Hotel just off of the Vegas Strip. This Cybertruck that he allegedly rented was rented from Colorado from the Turo rental platform. Authorities say that he drove it here to Las Vegas by 7:30 a.m. on New Year's Day, that he drove up and down the Strip, and then about an hour before the explosion drove past the Trump Hotel as well. And police did make note that the damage was really limited because of the body construction of this Tesla Cybertruck, saying that, the front glass of the Trump Hotel behind us did not even suffer any damage. The driver inside did die from this explosion. There were 7 other people injured, Jim.
All right, Natasha Chen, get back to us if you hear anything else. We really appreciate it. For more on this, CNN's chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst John Miller joins us now.
Like, we don't know he did it because he found out his son was gay. We don't know if he did it because when he was in Germany, if his wife probably got the BBC for the first time. We don't know. But it was definitely, what we do know, we just talk about facts. I'm going to talk a little shit, but we just being factual. It was some mental illness there. Like, wow.
John, let's start with this new information coming in from our Haley Britsky over at the Pentagon. How shocking is this, that this was an active duty soldier?
Active duty.
Me, I mean, the fact that this was a U.S. Special Forces soldier assigned to the 10th Special Forces Group, I mean, that tells us that this
was it a
individual
PTSD?
has some expertise if he is indeed the person who was inside the Cybertruck in addition to renting it.
Well, this is information we first reported last night, that he was a U.S. Special Forces operator. The fact that he's active duty on leave from Germany is just something that sets him apart in so many ways from the terrorist profile we've become accustomed to in these attacks, and raises real questions as to what was this event in Las Vegas. Was it an attack on the building? Was it a calculated suicide? But his training for a 36-year-old 19-year veteran, active duty
19
U.S.
year.
military, Green Beret, special
Green Beret.
operations training, risk management and vulnerability certification, intelligence operations. This really sets him apart in terms of a higher level of training and capability than anyone we would have seen in a similar attack. So again, Jimmy, goes back to the question of what was this? The idea of getting the Elon Musk signature car and bringing it to the gold Trump sign in Las Vegas, driving from Colorado Springs. It really suggests he's trying to send a message with visualization, but he allegedly, if he is the same person whose body was found in that car, they still haven't been able to identify that body, but they know who rented the car. If he is the individual inside, apparently he chose to press that detonator and then remain inside as this conflagration went out.
Right. I mean, there is the symbolism that you just referenced, John, in driving a Tesla Cybertruck up to the Trump Hotel in Vegas and blowing it up. There's also this connection, this potential, I suppose, military connection between this individual in Las Vegas and what took place in New Orleans. And I mean, I know we don't have any established connections or that we know about publicly at this point from official sources, but what do you make of that potential connection? I mean, that sounds like too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence.
As a former senior member of the Joint Terrorism Task Force, both in New York and Los Angeles, the idea that you've got two people with military backgrounds, one former, one active, that they go to the same off-brand rental car company, the Toro company, to rent these exotic vehicles, that they both do attacks in tourist locations on a holiday, is the kind of coincidence.
Is this the beginning of the end when military is not going to like Trump when they get in office? Something to think about. I'm just saying. Let's continue.
And driving a Tesla Cybertruck up to the Trump Hotel in Vegas and blowing it up. There's also this connection, this potential, I suppose, military connection between this individual in Las Vegas and what took place in New Orleans. And I mean, I know we don't have any established connections or that we know about publicly at this point from official sources, but what do you make of that potential connection? I mean, that sounds like too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence.
As a former senior member of the Joint Terrorism Task Force, both in New York and Los Angeles, the idea that you've got two people with military backgrounds, one former, one active, that they go to the same off-brand rental car company, the Toro company, to rent these exotic vehicles, that they both do attacks in tourist locations on a holiday, is the kind of coincidence that you can't say has meaning, but you can't ignore it. So you go into the investigation saying, well, let's disprove it. Let's investigate our way through it and find out if we can validate it or put it aside. But you certainly can't ignore it. Too many factors there.
The FBI is working to determine whether the Tesla Cybertruck explosion earlier today is possibly connected to the New Orleans attack. Here's the moment. Police say fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel were detonated in the bed of this vehicle. The FBI also trying to figure out whether it was an act of terrorism. Local police spoke to the glaring possibility of a connection between Trump Tower and the car produced by Elon Musk's company.
Well, I mean, it's a Tesla truck, and we know that Elon Musk is working with President-elect Trump, and it's the Trump Tower, so there's obviously things to be concerned about there, and that's something we continue to look at.
The
fact that this was a Cybertruck really limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet because it had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump hotel were not even broken by that blast.
CNN's Veronica Miracle has more details on the investigation.
Limited the damage that occurred inside.
How do we watch that? Did y'all see her facial expression? She was like, "This is some bullshit." Rewind it. Y'all want to see her facial expression?
Of the valet.
Actually, I think I already did.
It had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump hotel were not even broken by that blast.
CNN's Veronica Miracle has more details on the investigation for you.
Our John Miller is telling us he has spoken to multiple law enforcement officials who say that the driver of the Cybertruck has a military background. Now, law enforcement officials say they know the name of this driver who died in the explosion, but they are not going to be releasing the identity of that driver until they notify the next of kin. We understand that this driver was in Las Vegas for about an hour driving around the Strip before pulling up to Trump Tower before that explosion happened. And authorities say the driver rented the Cybertruck in Colorado via the Turo app before driving down to Las Vegas. Video released by law enforcement shows explosives that were contained inside the truck, which included fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel, and all of that was connected to a detonation system that was controlled by the driver. And the sheriff pointed out, which is really incredible, how the Cybertruck actually contained the explosion. The way that it was built forced the explosion to go upwards instead of outwards, which meant that the glass from Trump Tower was not broken, and 7 people nearby were injured, but with minor injuries. All of them are okay. They've all been released from the hospital. The driver did die, and Las Vegas police believe that this was an isolated incident. They are not yet willing to say if this was, in fact, connected to what happened in New Orleans, but it is quite unusual that both the drivers in these incidents rented their cars from Turo. We do have a statement from Turo, and they said they're cooperating with these investigations, but they also said that neither of the drivers had criminal backgrounds, which would have flagged them as security threats.
So now we got an update. Here's part 2 of that news story within like 24 hours later. And that one was like, what to say, the preliminary investigating some. I probably got it wrong. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this. I'm just a comedian reacting to videos. But here we go. So let's get this.
Truck attack there at the Trump Hotel. Let's listen in.
As many of you went to sleep last night, and I just want to give you an update on a lot of what it is that we found through the processing of the Cybertruck. This is a joint investigation involving the FBI, the ATF, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and these folks worked through the night and found a lot of stuff that is very useful for this investigation. As you look at this Cybertruck here, we had to transport this down to our fleet services so that we could really get through this thing. And I remind you that the subject inside wasn't able to be removed for a very long period of time because he was burnt beyond recognition.
Damn.
And so as we continue to move through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about his identity and what we believe, but I would like to highlight a couple of things that the teams found inside of the Cybertruck that are useful to the investigation. And that, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber semi-automatic
big
pistol.
Boy.
And if you'll notice on a lot of these guns that we're going to talk about here, they're almost just burnt beyond recognition as well. There's a SLR model B30 semi-automatic firearm, number of fireworks that were still in the vehicle that had to be removed. Notably, we found an iPhone and a smartwatch, and then several credit cards were also in the name of our subject. Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado, born July 22nd of 1987.
Wow.
Now,
okay.
As you'll see here on a picture of his driver's license, let's see, the question really still remains for me, and I know that there's a lot of you folks in the media that are identifying this person as the person in our vehicle. As I mentioned to you already, his body is burnt beyond recognition, and I do still not have confirmation 100% that that is the individual that was inside of our vehicle. And so as I'm calling it now, the subject or person of interest, I will not come back until I have the confirmation through DNA or medical records that this is indeed, in fact, the subject inside of the vehicle. Now, further complicating this identification of this individual. We also discovered through the coroner's office that the individual had sustained a gunshot wound to the head prior to the detonation of the vehicle.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So he pulled up, shot himself in the head with the 50 cal. Bow. It had a timer to blow the truck up. Hey, look, anybody, if you watch this video at this point, man, look, check on your people. I don't care, you can argue with people like that, but sometimes, look, mental health, this shit is really, like, this depression and shit that's going on. Check on your people. Like, sometimes you could just brighten somebody day, just saying hello, something like that. What's up? Crack a joke with them or something like that. Man, check on your people.
One of the handguns was found at his feet inside of the vehicle. Obviously, in how we're trying to identify him, and I'm feeling comfortable to give you this information, is a tremendous amount of substantial evidence to include he rented the Turo vehicle. There are 2 tattoos, one of which was on the stomach and one of which is on the arm, that we can see bits and pieces of it as in comparison to what it is that we now know he had on his body. That has given us a lot of confidence that this is, in fact, the same person, as well as the clearly obvious, which is the credit cards, the military identification, the passport. And then furthermore, as you'll see here in just a very short period of time, we tracked his movements from Colorado to Las Vegas, and in a number of the photographs that we were able to determine, he was the individual that was driving the vehicle. And also, I'd like to iterate this point to you. We still have only ever seen him in this vehicle, and we're not aware of any other subjects involved in this particular case.
Wow.
Now, I would like to acknowledge a couple of things because I know what's going on in the social media world, and there are a number of things in this case that are similar to the attack in New Orleans. We do know that our subject here served in the military. In fact, he's a current member of the military. Both of the subjects served at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. What we do know about that is it's a very large military base, and we have no record that they served in the same unit or even at the same years at Fort Bragg, something that continues to remain under investigation. I also know that they both served in Afghanistan in 2009. We don't have any evidence that they were in the same province in Afghanistan, the same location, or the same unit. Again, something else that remains under investigation. And we also know, of course, that they both used the rental company Turo to rent their vehicles. As far as his military background, it's been confirmed by DOD that he was indeed in the United States Army. He was also a Green Beret operations sergeant who spent most of his time at Fort Carson, Colorado, and in Germany. He was on approved leave from Germany, where he was serving with the 10th Special Forces Group. He was also previously in the National Guard and the Army Reserve. I'd like to point out to you that through exceptional joint investigative effort, we've gotten to a place where we believe we can show you his route to Las Vegas from Colorado, and Carlos will put up the map there for you. And we know that he rented the Cybertruck in Denver on December 28th. We tracked his movements through the Tesla charging stations to Monument, Colorado on December 30th.
I'm gonna sound like an ass for saying this. So I was born in the 80s, raised in the 90s. I was born in 84. And it was a guy back in the day named Timothy McVeigh that blew up the Oklahoma City building. And he got the wrong side of the building where he set the bomb. And it was actually the daycare side of the building where he killed a lot of people's kids. But, you know what I'm saying? He probably went to a builder square, a.k.a. a Home Depot, and maybe went to a farm and probably built a $500 bomb. Today, that bomb probably cost $800. You know, I'm just glad, you know, some of these people that's willing to do this stuff, they don't got the mental complexity to really build a $500 bomb. Because if he rolled up with a $500 bomb, 9/11 type shit would have happened. that building would have been leveled. But hey, let's continue.
On the 31st of December, the truck was charged in Trinidad, Colorado, Las Vegas, New Mexico, and Albuquerque and Gallup, New Mexico. On January 1st, the truck was charged in Holbrook, Flagstaff, and Kingman, Arizona. We last tracked the truck in Kingman at 05:33 yesterday morning. The truck was first spotted in Las Vegas at 7:29 a.m. yesterday. And Carlos will pull up a picture of the truck pulling onto Fashion Show Drive here. And that picture was observed at about 7:34 a.m. We know that he pulled into the Trump Valet, and I believe we have a video of that. You can see the Cybertruck highlighted there. So through extensive surveillance video, we were able to track him leaving there, and we know that he went to several different places along Las Vegas Boulevard, and he spent some time in a parking lot of a business near Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard. We didn't have a video of the truck pulling back onto Las Vegas Boulevard from the sands. See that there? That's north on the boulevard from Sands at 8:39, where he then immediately heads to the Trump Hotel, pulls into the valet area, and as of course you all know, the explosion occurs within 17 seconds of his arrival at the valet. There's some additional investigative updates that are going to be provided to you by a couple of the other speakers here, the first of which will be our special agent in charge of the FBI local office, Spencer Evans. Spencer?
Here, let me pause you on this. Here, and I see two things here. I see, look, this is bad. Look, I'm a comedian. I talk about shit. Y'all don't want to hear me talk about shit. Y'all can X out the fucking video. Now I don't care. I'm talking to adults. I'm not talking to kids, man. So, wow, this could have been way more devastating because he could have easily did this and killed hundreds of people, and then had effects on thousands of people's lives. At the same time, I don't condone what he do. I get it. This was fucked up. But I'm looking at this like, wow, this is a guy that was to elite. He could have been, you know, honor Victoria in high school, valedictorian in high school, you know, honor roll student. It was just like the mental illness, the depression. I don't know what was going on to like depress him to this point. It's fucked up. We gonna call it what it is. Wow. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. You know, drop something down in the comments. You think I said something wrong? Don't think I said something wrong because I'm just so blunt and harsh, but it's like an intervention. It's not like this old cancel culture shit y'all ain't nah. Oh my God, this is so graphic. You watch movies that's worse than this. So, you know, luckily, nobody else was deleted. Like, wow, this is some crazy, this is a hell of a way to go out. But, you know, I want to know, like, what was going on? Was he being sued? Was he being divorced? Like, what was going on to make this guy that's want to, I mean, he was doing, I mean, I don't know. I don't know his personal details. All I know is what I hear from the news. I think he was doing pretty good in life. You know, he was like something to brag about, like, you know, but wow, you know, but sometimes, you know, some people suffer in silence. You never know what they're going through. Peace.